So Ian Clayton stated at the end of 2012 was the end of the old apostolic or the fivefold ministry order. And I think as a form of government, it is ended. And it's like the structures are still there, they're still operating, just means God's authority isn't in it anymore. Now, I relate to 2012 as being a significant year that God started to say something new starting, that reformation of the church into the ecclesia of God. People gathered around heavenly blueprints, and God has been doing that to gather people around that who are going to start to take their position of government and then begin to change things on earth. And this is how this works. While I was flying over here last time, God gave me this picture in a plane. So in heaven, you have benches of three, the Father, Son, and Spirit. He's on the throne. He's on the top of the mountain of God, Mount Zion. He's on the throne. And when you have a royal priesthood and a priestly and kingly function coming together, it forms an ark of agreement. And an ark of agreement releases a blueprint. So you have heavenly blueprints for everything. Your life, my life, ecclesia, cities, states, nations, the whole planet and the whole universe has blueprints, God's intentions for them. So when you get this ark, you literally get a mountain forming, a government formed over it, and a light shining on it. So what happens when you shine a light and put something in the way of the light? You get a shadow. So there's a shadow of a blueprint on the earth, of a heavenly blueprint that then God wants to be filled. He wants that shadow to be outworked on the earth. But to do that, you need an agreement with heaven and earth. So you have an apostolic and prophetic of the order of Melchizedek agreeing. They form an ark, and then you start to get this. So you get a reflection of heaven's government, not a copy of it. So you have a bench of three on the earth carrying a picture of that blueprint, so that blueprint can be outworked. And that could be my life. When my life, body, soul, and spirit comes in agreement and one spirit with him, I can fulfill my destiny. I can outwork the blueprint that God has. If it's a church, an ecclesia, then it's gathered around a blueprint, people gathering around a vision. It has a bench of three, which is the foundational government, as it is in heaven, on earth. And that bench of three begins to release people to fulfill their destiny. And if they intersect with that and their hearts are together, one heart and one mind about the blueprint, then people begin to fulfill their destiny within it. Now that is God's way of bringing government. And that's what God is looking for everywhere. People who will respond to a blueprint from heaven and begin to gather and fulfill it. That will change the earth because it's heaven and earth coming into agreement.
Get more from Mike when you join any tier at patreon.com/freedomark.